Welcome everyone, Mike with Bowers Barbecue coming to you today from my backyard. Now today's video, we're going to do a trend that's been all over YouTube and the internet, and that is the beef tallow brisket. We're going to do ours today on the recteq bullseye. But first, we got to start the fire. Alright, so I told myself I wouldn't do a beef tallow brisket because absolutely everyone's doing it, but I found this 10-pound Select brisket for about $18, and I knew that would be perfect for this video, so we're going to go ahead and do one for you. Now at 7 a.m. at the time of filming this video, I got up at 2 a.m. to start this brisket. The lights weren't working by my grill, so I didn't get to record that, but I want to show you guys how I seasoned it up. Okay, as mentioned before, this brisket is a select grade. It started off at about 10 pounds. I swear I probably trimmed about 3 to 4 pounds of meat off there. So we're gonna see if we make this thing pretty. I am going with a mustard slather for this one. Both sides there. As far as rub goes, be very liberal with this. I have salt, pepper, garlic. Got a little bit of dehydrated onion in here as well. Yeah, very savory rub. We're gonna get this pretty good. We will come back and get the sides here in just a moment. Normally on my pellet grill, I will cook fat side down. Today we do have a water pan in there, so I'm gonna go ahead and do this fat side up. Hopefully that water will protect the meat from the heat. Make sure you get the sides. If you guys want a rub tub like this, there's a link in the description below. Anything bought those links help support this channel. Doesn't cost you anything. Alright, this brisket's looking pretty good. We're gonna try to save some of this seasoning at the bottom of the rub tub to finish it off here. This is what makes this rub tub very nice. You save a lot of that. All right, we're gonna get this on the bullseye. All right, so once I had the brisket seasoned up, I put it on the recteq bullseye. I set the bullseye to the low setting, which again is 200 degrees. I have a mixture of hickory and mesquite pellets inside the hopper. Put the brisket on right about 2:15. It's now 7 a.m., so it's been on there for about 5 hours now. Let's go take a look at what we're dealing with. All right, let's take a look. Excellent bark. As you can see, I put in a water pan right below the grate. Keep some moisture in there so when I went back to sleep, I wouldn't have to worry about spritzing. That bark's looking pretty good. We're gonna get this just a little bit more before we wrap. Okay, so like I said earlier, the brisket was a perfect candidate for the tallow wrap just because it was a select grade brisket, not a lot of marbling in there. The brisket was pretty bad. It was 10 pounds. I swear I probably took off 3 to 4 pounds in trimming. I didn't show you guys the trimming video because I suck at it. You're not gonna learn anything from me anyway, so if you wanna see a good trimming video, click the card above and Bradley can definitely help you out with that. Now as far as the tallow goes, I made this tallow myself earlier. Basically took the brisket trimmings and put them on the recteq for about 4 hours at 225. I'm hoping that by smoking the tallow, it gives the brisket a little bit more smoky flavor. If you watch any of my videos, you know the only complaint I have about the recteq bullseye is it doesn't really give a good smoke flavor on large cuts of meat like a brisket. So hopefully that smoked tallow will help. Again, making that tallow is super simple. You just take your brisket trimmings, maybe you trim the brisket the night before, You smoke it for about, like I said, 5 hours, and just drain the brisket fat into a jar. Makes perfect tallow. Um, I've been hearing about tallow for a while now. If you guys have ever watched Max over at Texarkana Barbecue, he's got a great video on that. He calls it Texas Butter. Go check that out. He really explains the benefits of the tallow. Okay, so as far as applying the tallow, there's a couple different ways we can do so. Now, Jeremy Yoder of Mad Scientist Barbecue is the one who started this craze here recently. What he did is, if I remember correctly, is he cooked the brisket. When it was done cooking, he unwrapped it, sprinkled it with some tallow, and then wrapped it back up and let it rest. We're gonna do something similar to that. In fact, I'm gonna put a little bit of tallow on the butcher paper when I wrap it. I'm gonna cook it to its complete, and then once it's done cooking, I'll then unwrap it, put some more tallow on the brisket, and then wrap it back up and let it rest for a couple of hours. Hopefully doing this will allow that brisket to absorb all the moisture. Then along with that tallow on top, we can turn this little small brisket, it's gonna look like a meteorite when we're done, into something very flavorful and juicy. We'll see. All right, let's take a look and see how this brisket looks. So it looks pretty good here. I think the bark's nice and set. A little bit of issue there, but it's fine. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. Okay, so we have the butcher paper laid out here. If you want to know what kind of butcher paper I use, I'll put a link down in the description. So the first thing we're going to do is put a little bit of beef tallow right here. Go ahead and wrap up that brisket. In fact, we're going to go ahead and put a little bit on top of the brisket now as well. Not much. That'll do it. Fat side. Fat side. This excess you can cut off, or you can tuck it underneath the brisket. However you like. Let's get this on the recteq. Okay, so I had the brisket back on the recteq. Just to recap what I've done so far is I seasoned up the brisket. I put it on about 2 a.m. this morning. Checked it on at 7. It's now about 8 o'clock. We got it wrapped up. So that's about, what, 6 hours. I could have easily got another hour unwrapped, but I want to go ahead and try to speed this up a little bit. So I went ahead and wrapped it now, and then also bumped up the bullseye from the low setting to 225. I'm hoping to get this thing done by noon. We're going to check on it then. If it's not ready at that point in time, I may bump up the bullseye a little bit more, because I want to be sure to give this at least a 5-hour rest. Okay, it's about 11:30. The brisket's been on for, what's that, 9.5 hours so far. I got a little bit of a rest, so not much in between the cooking, but this recteq bullseye has been running at 225 ever since I set it to that when I wrapped. The probe on the bullseye is showing about 198 right now. So let's go take a look and probe it for tenderness. So I have the probe here, the thickest part of the flat. I think that paper is the hardest part. It's a little tug there. 195, this shows 199, so a little bit off, not much. Flat feels perfect. Point feels pretty good too. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. That shows 193, but that feels pretty good. We're gonna let this rest for about 5 hours. So some of that carryover will help as well. All right, let's go inside and put some tallow on. Okay, so we're gonna slowly unwrap this brisket. See that tallow all over right there. Oh my goodness, look at all this. All that juice, it's crazy. It's be harder than I thought it'd be. I don't know if it needs much tallow. I think we're pretty good from the wrap. I'm gonna do just a little bit here. It's definitely killing that bark though. Look at that juice. This is a Select brisket, y'all. I might have been better off just leaving it alone. All right, let's get this in the oven. That's my sign. All right, it's 6:05, so this whole process is going on 16 hours now. The brisket did come off at noon. We let it rest for 6 hours in the oven. I started on low, then I turned it off. You know, got to 160, then when I got down to about 140, 145, I turned it back on, kind of playing that game to keep it at that 150 range. I only had to do that like twice. So the installation of the oven really kept that thing warm. So let's go ahead and slice into this thing and see what we're working with. I did probe the brisket to see where it's at right now, and it is at 148. So it should be pretty good. All right, let's take a look at this brisket. That paper's absolutely saturated. Oh, this looks good though. Looks pretty good. A little tougher than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, not too bad. Pretty juicy for a flat there. I like that. See what the point's looking like. Not bad at all for a select grade brisket. Not bad at all. Now my favorite part of the brisket is right here where the flat and the point meet. Let's give that a try. That bark did suffer a little bit. Looks pretty good. Not as moist as I would like, to be honest with you, and really not as pliable as I like. Yeah, I'm not happy with this. I mean, it's been somewhat, but man, I'm so used to my briskets falling over. Yeah, not a big fan. Let's see how it tastes though. Good flavor. This piece here is a little bit better. I don't know. It's good. I like it. It tastes good. Just not my best work. As far as smoke flavor goes, I don't think the tallow made any difference whatsoever. Damn good brisket though. All right, I'm gonna slice the rest of this up and eat some dinner. Be back in a moment. Okay, so I'm still learning my camera, and apparently when I did the outro to this video, I forgot to turn on the microphone. So live and learn. Thanks for putting up with that. But honestly, I'm kind of glad that it didn't come out because I was a little bit too negative on myself in the original outro. This brisket wasn't bad at all. For an $18 select brisket, I think it actually turned out incredible. Did the tallow help? No, honestly, I wish I would have actually not unwrapped the brisket to put more on there. Maybe then I could have seen a little bit of a difference. As you saw in the video, I dumped out way too much of the juice in there. I should have let it be and let it rest for that 5 hours with its natural juices and just a little bit of that tallow. Well, this would be a method I'd try again. Maybe do another version of it. Maybe try something a little bit differently. I really want to try this though on my Shirley and see how it turns out there. Was it a good brisket? Yeah, it was a good brisket. In fact, after I had the opportunity to eat it for the next week, I really realized that was probably one of the better pellet grill briskets that I've done. It did have a little bit more smoke flavor as leftovers than it did
at the time I actually sliced the brisket up. My best brisket ever? Absolutely not. Was it a damn good brisket? Yes, it was. So give this method a try. Let me know what you think, especially if you're using a pellet grill doing this. You know, I use the recteq, but you can do it on any pellet grill out there. You can do it for any way you cook a brisket, honestly. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. I really do appreciate all of you. Fire is out.